Hi everyone, I'm Bubbles from Susan's family. Today, I'm going to show you a tutorial for the Money Cat Pillow, Fishful Moments version. This pillow consists of the main body and decorations. We'll start by making the main body, then we'll create the decorations and sew them on. Let's start with learning how to make the main body. It is divided into the body and the limbs. Face piece, eyes, nose, whiskers, ears, and tail. The pattern for this project is mostly in chart form. Next, I'll teach you how to understand the chart first. In the chart, our plus number represents the round number, and H plus number represents the row number. The stitch instructions column shows the stitch and increase, decrease situations needed for the current round. The total stitches column indicates the total number of stitches after completing the current round. Start by crocheting the body. We will start from foundation chain and crochet in rounds counterclockwise along the foundation chain. The stitches used include X for single crochet, V for SC2 in 1, and A for SC2 tog. Now, let's sew. To make it easier for everyone to see clearly, I will demonstrate using other yarn here. For specific yarn and color schemes as well as the hook size, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Start with a chain of 10 stitches. From the right side, you can see this braid-like texture. Hook into the top loop and place a marker to mark the first stitch. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can also use a paperclip or safety pin as a substitute. Continue with the foundation chain. Here's a note for you. Because the yarn is special, your hands might get tired while crocheting. If your hands get tired, you can change the way you hold the hook to relieve the strain. I'll teach you 2 ways to hold the hook. The first way is like holding a pen, as I'm doing now. The second way is like this. Place your hand above the crochet hook and gently grip it. Continue with the chains to start. After completing the foundation chain, you can also mark the last stitch. If you can find the insertion position here, you don't need to mark the beginning and ending positions. That's how you finish the starting chain. Now let's move on to the first round of crocheting. Dow 2 means starting from the second to last chain stitch. That is, the stitch on the left side of the stitch marker. Pick up the back loop of that stitch. Make a SC2 in 1. That is, crochet 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Similarly, you can also mark the first stitch here. After completing it, pick the back loop of the adjacent chain, and crochet 1 single crochet. Then, continue to pick the back loops of the chains and crochet 6 single crochets. After finishing, crochet the stitches in the square brackets. The square brackets indicate crocheting multiple stitches in the same position. Pick the back loop of the remaining chain stitch, that is, the stitch where you made the marker. Crochet 4 single crochets. After completing, rotate the piece along the other side of the chains. Pick up the remaining 2 strands and crochet single crochets. While crocheting, wrap the yarn tail. Finally, crochet 1 SC2 in 1. Mark the last stitch. After finishing, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet, that is, the stitch where you started marking. The joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch. Pull tight. This completes the first round. Next, let's crochet the second round. Parentheses indicate a group. Asterisk and number indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. Make 1 beginning chain. This beginning chain is not marked in the chart. When crocheting in rounds, unless otherwise specified, always make a beginning chain. Let's start with the first group. First, crochet 2 SC2 in 1. Mark the stitch. I won't remind you about this later. Next, crochet 7 single crochets. After that, crochet 2 SC2 in 1. This completes one group within the parentheses. Now, crochet another group. Once completed, join with a slip stitch to the first single crochet. Pull tight. This completes the second round. Now let's move on to the third round. Work 1 chain as beginning chain. First, crochet 2 groups of stitches inside the parentheses. Then crochet 7 single crochets. After completing that, continue following the form to finish this round completely. Once done, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the third round. Next, keep following the chart all the way down to round 17. In the later rounds of crocheting, you'll encounter rounds with even stitches. This means 1 single crochet in each stitch. The total number of stitches will be the same as the previous round. From here, you can finish crocheting on your own. After completing it, we'll move on to round 18. Here, I'll demonstrate using a sample. The number of rounds and stitches won't be referenced. I'll only demonstrate the method. Moving forward, I won't make any more marks. Everyone choose according to the actual situation. Make 1 beginning chain. Start with 2 SC2 tog. First, work an unclosed single crochet in each of the 2 adjacent stitches. Then yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook. That completes 1 SC2 tog. Continue and work another one. After completing it, work the corresponding number of single crochets. Finally, after completing the last 2 SC2 tog, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. That completes round 18. Next, refer to the chart to crochet the remaining rounds. After completing, leave a yarn tail of about 30 centimeters and cut the yarn. Then proceed to stuffing. You can fluff up the fiberfill before stuffing it in. Once done, thread the reserved yarn tail into a sewing needle. Sew the ending position together tightly. Pick up the front loops to sew. That is, the yarn closest to you. Do the same on the other side. After sewing, tie a knot and weave in the ends. That concludes the body section. Next, let's learn how to crochet the limbs. We will also use the foundation chain method to start. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise from the foundation chain. Now, let's show. Start with 2 chains first. Then, crochet round 1 next. Crochet 6 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. That completes the first round. Since the next round requires a color change, leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn here. Now let's move on to round 2. Take the corresponding color yarn. Join the yarn first. Make 1 beginning chain. Then follow the stitch pattern in the chart. Work this round completely. Weave in the ends as you crochet. Finish with a slip stitch and pull tight. Turn the right side out. That completes the second round. Next, everyone refer to the chart. Crochet the remaining rounds following the form. After completing, leave a long tail, and fasten off the yarn. Then proceed in the same way. Crochet 3 more. After finishing the limbs, we'll move on to assembling them. Let's take a look at the finished product first. The starting position should face upwards. Attach the legs to the body between the 5th and 7th rounds from the bottom up. Space the 2 legs 7 to 8 stitches apart. Attach the arms between the 10th and 13th rounds on the upper part. Align them roughly with the legs. When sewing, the legs should tilt outward at the top. The arms, on the other hand, tilt outward at the bottom. For the exact angle, you can refer to the finished product. Alternatively, you can sew according to your preference. Below, I will demonstrate the sewing method. Here, I'll use a sample for demonstration. Let's start by sewing the legs. Before sewing, you can stuff a small amount of filling cotton into the legs. Then, use a stitch marker to temporarily secure the legs in the corresponding rounds. Next, thread the reserved yarn tail into the sewing needle. Then, follow the last round of the leg. Press it flat, and sew it to the corresponding rounds on the body. After finishing the sewing at the last round position, you can roughly sew 1-2 stitches on the inner side to secure it to the body. After sewing, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. That's it for one leg. Next, follow the same method to sew the other leg as well. After both legs are sewn, attach the arms by sewing them into the corresponding rounds. Also, sew along the last round. After sewing, fix it to the body with 1-2 stitches on the inner side. Next, complete this part on your own. That concludes the explanation for the arms, and that completes all 4 limbs. Now let's learn how to crochet the tail. We will start from foundation chain, and crochet in rounds counterclockwise starting from the foundation chain. The method and stitch techniques have been demonstrated before. Refer to the chart and crochet it on your own. After crocheting, sew it to the middle of the ending position on the body. The sewing method is the same as for the limbs. You can sew it on your own following this method. That concludes the explanation for the tail. Next, let's learn how to crochet the face piece. We will start from foundation chain, and crochet in rounds counterclockwise starting from the beginning chain. The new stitches used include W for SC3 in 1, T for half double crochet, and TW for HDC3 in 1. Now, let's sew. Start with the foundation stitch. Then begin from the second to last stitch. Crochet 7 single crochets first. Next, crochet 1 SC3 in 1. That means crocheting 3 single crochets in the same stitch. After finishing, rotate the piece. Continue crocheting along the other side of the chain. Complete this round. After finishing, join with a slip stitch and tighten. This completes the first round. Now let's work on the second round. Chain 1 to begin, then crochet the stitches in the parentheses. Start with 1 single crochet. Follow with 6 half double crochets. Then crochet another single crochet. Next, crochet 1 HDC 3 in 1. That means crocheting 3 half double crochets in the same stitch. Continue with another group of stitches in the parentheses. After finishing, join with a slip stitch and tighten. Leave a long yarn tail and cut the yarn. That's it for the face piece. Next, let's learn how to crochet the eyes. The eyes consist of crocheted pieces and finished eye components. Start by crocheting the pieces first. There are 2 identical pieces. Both use the magic ring method to begin. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise from the magic ring. Now, let's show. Begin with an adjust chart magic ring. Make 1 beginning chain, then crochet 7 single crochets into the magic ring. After completing, close the ring. Gently tighten the starting tail of the yarn. You don't need to pull it too tight here. Then slip stitch to the first stitch. Tighten. That completes the first round. Next, follow the chart to complete the remaining rounds. As you crochet, weave in the yarn tails at the same time. Once finished, make another one using the same method. After completing the eye piece, it's time to attach the pre-made eyes. Before attaching, use a hook to widen the hole at the starting position a bit. Then apply glue on the flat side of the pre-made eye. Be mindful not to use too much glue, so it doesn't overflow. Insert the eye afterward. After crocheting, sew the eye piece onto the wrong side of the face piece. Position it slightly away from the edges on both sides. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a darning needle. Then sew around the circle of the eye to attach it. That completes one eye. Following the same method, sew the other eye as well. Next, sew the face piece around the middle area and out one round above the hand. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a sewing needle. Before sewing, you can use a stitch marker to temporarily secure the piece in the corresponding position. Pick up stitches along the outer edge, and sew it to the body. After sewing, tie a knot and weave in the ends. That completes the face piece. Next, we'll embroider the nose and whiskers. The whiskers are embroidered on both sides of the face piece. The nose is embroidered between the two eyes. Below, I'll demonstrate the embroidery method using the nose as an example. First, cut about 30 centimeters of the corresponding color yarn. Start by weaving in the yarn tail. Then, between the two eyes, embroider 5 line segments about 1 centimeter long. After finishing, weave in the yarn tail. That completes the nose. Next, let's embroider the whiskers. Take a look at the finished product. The whiskers are 2 rounds above the mouth. On each side of the face piece, embroider 3 line segments about 2 centimeters long. Below, everyone can refer to the finished product, or you can embroider according to your own preference. That concludes the whiskers. Next, let's learn how to crochet the ears. They are divided into the outer ear and the inner ear. Let's start with the outer ear. There are 2 identical ones. Both use the foundation chain method to begin. Work back and forth along the foundation chain. The new stitch technique used here is the TV for HDC 2-in-1. Now, let's demonstrate. Start with 6 chains. Then move on to crochet the first row. Begin from the second to last stitch. Crochet 2 single crochets. Next, do 1 HDC 2-in-1. That means crocheting 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. After completing that, crochet 2 more single crochets. This completes the first row. Now proceed to the second row. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn means to flip the work over. Turn the piece over. Start with 1 SC2 in 1. Then crochet 2 single crochets. Next, make 2 chains. Below, continue with 2 single crochets, and 1 SC2 in 1. This completes the second row. Leave a long yarn tail and fasten off. One ear is now finished. Consider the right side of the second row as the right side of the piece. This will be the right side of the fabric. Next, everyone follow the same method to crochet another outer ear. After completing the outer ear, sew it onto the starting position of the body. Attach the ear to the first 3 rounds of the body. Leave a space of about 5 stitches between the 2 ears. When sewing, make sure to slightly curve inward. Sew with the right sides facing forward, that is, the side with the limbs. Now, let's sew. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a sewing needle. Temporarily secure the ear in the corresponding position. Then sew along the side seam. Pay attention to creating the curve. After sewing, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Then weave in the beginning yarn tail as well. This way, one outer ear is sewn on. Follow the same method for the other. Sew the other outer ear as well. That concludes the outer ears. Next, let's learn how to crochet the inner ears. We will start from foundation chain. Crochet along the foundation chain. Then everyone, refer to the chart and finish crocheting it. When done, leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Then apply glue on the wrong side. Attach it to the right side of the outer ear. After sticking it on, weave in both yarn tails inside the body. Next, finish it on your own. That concludes the inner ears, and that also concludes the ears. Now let's learn how to crochet the decorations. It consists of a hat and a fish. Let's start by making the hat. It includes the upper part, the lower part, and the copper coin. First, refer to the chart. Crochet the upper and lower parts of the hat. After completing them, crochet the copper coin. There are 2 identical copper coins. Both use the chain ring method to start. Work around the magic ring. The new stitch used is F for double crochet. Now, let's sew. First, chain the corresponding number. Then join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Mindful that the chain doesn't twist. This completes the chain ring method. Next, move on to the first round. Make one beginning chain. Start with the SC2 tog. First, work an unclosed single crochet into the first and second chains. Then yarn over and draw through all loops once. Next, crochet 1/2 double crochet. Then work 4 double crochets. Below that, work another 1/2 double crochet. Then follow the chart to complete the remaining groups. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the first round. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Now move on to the second round. Position the starting point facing up. Begin from any stitch. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain to join the yarn. This is the insertion point for the first round. Make one beginning chain. Follow the chart for the stitch pattern. For this round, crochet using the remaining 2 strands of each chain. Continue to complete this round. Finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the second round. Leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Now proceed to the third round. Before crocheting, cut a shaping wire about 45 centimeters long. First, remove the outer covering. Next, everyone follow the same method. Remove all of the covering. Now start crocheting. Bend the shaping wire roughly into an arc along the second round. Pay attention, leave about the same length on both ends. Join the yarn and start crocheting. While crocheting, wrap the shaping wire inside. After completing, finish with a slip stitch. Pull tight. That's how you complete the third round. Make sure the shaping wire is left with about the same length on both ends. Now start crocheting the fourth row. Crochet around 20 single crochets along the remaining shaping wire. After finishing, leave a yarn tail of about 30 centimeters and cut the yarn. Tidy up the shape. That's how you crochet one copper coin. Below, follow the same method. Crochet another copper coin. After crocheting everything, it's time to assemble. First, sew the upper and lower parts together. Then, attach the copper coins at the back. Finally, sew them onto the body. Now, let's sew. First, stuff the upper part with an appropriate amount of fiber fill. Next, thread the reserved yarn tail into a darning needle. Then, place it over the starting point of the lower part. Align it with the position where there is a slip stitch. Then sew along the third round. when there's a little space left. If the fabric isn't firm enough, you can add a bit more stuffing, or leftover yarn ends. After sewing everything together, tie off and weave in the ends. Now the upper and lower parts are sewn together. Next, take out the copper coin. Take the remaining part of the shaping wire and insert it from the back of the third round up from the bottom of the lower part, which is the side with the slip stitches. The two shaping wires should be spaced about 4 stitches apart. Then secure the shaping wire inside. Any excess of the shaping wire can be tucked inside. If you want it to be more secure, you can also use the reserved yarn tail to sew a few stitches to fix it. Finally, weave in the yarn tail. Weave in the other yarn tail as well. Tidy up the shape. Now the copper coin is fixed in place. Next, thread the previously left yarn tail into a darning needle. Sew it onto the body. Sew together between the two ears. With the copper coin facing backward, you can stuff it beforehand before sewing. Then sew along the final round. Next, everyone continues to sew around the round. Finish sewing the lower part. When sewing from behind, and leaving a little space, if you feel it's not firm enough, you can add more yarn scraps or stuffing cotton. After sewing, tie off and weave in the ends. Everyone, this is what the hat looks like after it's sewn together. That concludes the tutorial on the hat. Finally, let's learn how to crochet a fish. It consists of the fish body, the scales, the mouth, the fins and the eyes. Start by crocheting the fish body, then crochet the remaining parts. Lastly, sew them all together. We will start from foundation chain. Crochet along the foundation chain. Now, let's show. Everyone, first follow the chart to complete round 27. I've already crocheted this part in advance. Next, stuff the fabric with appropriate stuffing or leftover yarn tails. Then, let's crochet row 28. First, chain 5. Then, starting from the third stitch of round 27, crochet 3 single crochets. Then, make 1 SC2 tog. Followed by 1 single crochet. After finishing, row 28 is complete. Now, let's move on to row 29. First, chain 10. Then, starting from the 4th stitch, counting backward of round 27. Crochet 7 single crochets. After completing, row 29 is done. Next, let's crochet row 30. First, chain 10. Then, start crocheting from the 5th stitch, counting backward of round 27. After finishing, row 30 is complete. Following this method, continue crocheting all the way to round 43. While crocheting, stuff the fiber fill as you go. Pay attention that after completing round 43, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. Now, let's crochet round 44. Refer to the chart for the stitch pattern and crochet accordingly. Make 1 beginning chain. After crocheting, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. That completes round 44. Next, refer to the chart and crochet round 45 as well. After finishing, continue to crochet row 46. Start by crocheting 7 chains. Then, begin from the 3rd stitch counting backward. Crochet 2 half double crochets first. Follow with 3 single crochets. Then, in the 2nd stitch, and the second to last stitch of the previous round, Crochet 1 slip stitch at the same time. Row 46 is now complete. Next, let's crochet row 47. Make 1 beginning chain, turn your work. Crochet 5 slip stitches. Here, the slip stitches can be not too tight. After finishing, crochet 2 chains. Then, in the 4th to last stitch, crochet 2 half double crochets. Two single crochets. Then, in the 3rd stitch, and the 3rd to last stitch of round 45, crochet a slip stitch at the same time. Row 47 is now complete. Next, let's do row 48. Make 1 beginning chain, turn your work. First, crochet 4 slip stitches. Two chains. In the 4th to last stitch, crochet 2 half double crochets. One single crochet. Then, in the 4th stitch, and the 4th to last stitch of round 45, crochet a slip stitch at the same time. This completes row 48. Next, follow this method, and finish the remaining rows. After completing it, leave a yarn tail. Weave in the yarn tail inside the fish body. That concludes the fish body. Now let's embroider the fish scales. On the right side, when the fish tail faces left, embroider these curved segments. Here, I divide the fish scales into 4 segments. The first 3 segments are embroidered on the fish body. The 4th segment is embroidered on the fish tail. The first segment is embroidered roughly in rounds 18 to 21. The second segment is embroidered roughly in rounds 24 to 27. The third segment is embroidered at the tail of the fish body. The curves of the left and right segments in the first and second segments need to be offset by 1 round. The third segment is also slightly staggered on the left and right. For the fourth segment, embroider a horizontal segment on the fish tail first, then embroider 3 vertical segments. Before embroidering, you can use a water-soluble pen to draw the approximate curve at the corresponding round number. Then embroider along the marked lines made by the water-soluble pen. For the shape and position here, you can refer to the finished product, or you can also embroider according to your preference. Now, let's show everyone. This is the sample after I've drawn it. Cut about 50 centimeters of the corresponding color yarn. Pull out 2 strands from it. Thread the needle with the yarn. First, weave in the ends inside the fish body. Then embroider along the marked lines. After completing the first section, if the tail end is too long, you can transition it to the next segment and continue embroidering. Now everyone, repeat this process to embroider all the fish scales. If the tail end is not long enough later, you can weave in the yarn tail, then take a new piece of yarn and continue embroidering. After finishing the embroidery, you can use a tissue dipped in a little water to wipe off the water-soluble pen marks. That concludes the fish scales. Next, let's learn how to crochet the mouth. Use the chain ring method to start. Work around the chain ring. After crocheting, leave a long tail, and fasten off the yarn. Next, everyone can finish crocheting it on your own. Once the mouth is crocheted, sew it to a slightly left position from where the fish body starts. That's the side where the tail curls up. When sewing, make sure the wrong side is facing out. Now, let's show. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a darning needle. Then sew together at the corresponding position. Before sewing, you can temporarily secure it with a stitch marker. While sewing, you can insert both the stitch and the chain position at the same time. After finishing the sewing, weave in the yarn tail inside the fish body. That concludes the mouth section. Next, let's learn how to crochet the fins. There are two parts, fin 1 and fin 2. Let's start with crocheting fin 1. We will start from foundation chain and continue crocheting along the foundation chain. Now, let's start with 8 chains. Begin by leaving a yarn tail of about 30 centimeters. Then, start from the third to last stitch. Crochet 2 half double crochets first. Followed by 2 single crochets. And finish with 2 slip stitches. This completes the first row. Now let's move on to the second row. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn your work. BLO means crocheting through the back loop only. That is, the strand of yarn that is farther from you, after turning the work. Start by crocheting 2 slip stitches. Followed by 2 single crochets. And then 3 half double crochets. For the last stitch, pick up the chain stitch and crochet through it. This completes the second row. Now let's move on to the third row. Make 2 beginning chains. Turn your work. Flow means crocheting through the front loop only. That is, the strand of yarn that is closer to you. Pick up the front loops from the previous row, and crochet 2 half double crochets. Then work 2 single crochets. Followed by 2 slip stitches. This completes the third row. Next, everyone finish the fourth row as well. After completing it, leave a bit of tail and fasten off the yarn. Consider the right side of the fourth row as the right side of the piece. Then, on the right side, use the same yarn as the fish scale pattern. Embroider 3 line segments. Then sew them slightly to the right of the first fish scale segment. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a darning needle. Then sew at the corresponding position. Attach the narrower side of the fin to the body. Sew 1-2 stitches on the side to secure it. Finally, weave in the yarn tail inside the fish body. Conceal the reserved yarn tail on the wrong side of the fabric. This completes fin 1. Next, let's learn how to crochet fin 2. We will also start with the foundation chain method. Crochet along the foundation chain. Below, everyone can finish crocheting it on your own. After completing, leave a long yarn tail and break the yarn. Then, embroider 3 small line segments on the right side. Finally, sew it onto the 13th to 19th rounds of the fish bodice side. When sewing, make sure the right side is facing forward. Below, everyone can complete it on your own. This concludes fin 2. Lastly, let's make the eyes. First, use the paper pattern. Cut out corresponding sized circular pieces from the non-woven fabric. Then, glue the half beads on the left side of the non-woven fabric. Finally, attach the non-woven fabric onto the body, approximately at the 8th to 12th rounds, slightly to the left. Below, everyone can finish it on your own. This concludes the eyes. Lastly, sew the fish body onto the main body. When sewing, make sure the fish mouth is facing up, and the fish tail is facing left, at the middle position between the left hand and leg. Sew with the same color thread as the fish body. Secure the yarn tail first. Then temporarily fix the fish to the body using a stitch marker. Sew the side that sticks close to the body next. There's no specific requirement for the sewing method here. Just make sure it's sewn securely. After sewing, tie off and weave in the ends. This concludes the fish. That's all for now. This pillow's tutorial is now complete. If you have any unclear points during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's family. Every stitch and thread counts. Sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.